the president of the institute, the chairman of the session, distinguished members of the institute, ladies and gentlemen. After hearing two practitioners, you will be surprised what, as an academician, I'm going to talk. But let me tell you, and I'm very glad to share with you, that at IIM-Ahmedabad, both the costing, management, accounting, and strategy are integrated. In our academics, research, and practice, we have blended both. Our academic courses, which are on this topic, are not called costing or management accounting. Our courses are called strategic cost management. Our curriculum includes the basics of cost accounting to management accounting, and then it moves to the concepts of target costing, life cycle costing, activity-based costing. We do the alternative choice decisions, transfer pricing, and a wide range of management control, where we begin with profit center concepts, financial metrics for performance evaluation, limitations of ROI and EVA, and then move to balance scorecard. So you can see that starting the journey from Anthony 1956 to Sealing Law to Hongrin to Shang to Vijay Govindarajan, Kaplan, Norton, whole range of academicians are being part of the academic programs at the institute. In all our consulting practices, we help the organizations in driving this particular tools and techniques for improvement of corporate performance as well as business performance. So my presentation is going to be a blend of the academics and what practices we follow with our corporate clients. As we all know, the management accounting term got popularized and practiced by Anthony in 56, Sealing Law 61, and Hongrin 62. Since then, the transition from cost accounting to managerial cost analysis is a significant accomplishment. It held management accounting prominent place in industry, commerce, and academy. The transition from managerial cost analysis to strategic cost management will help in determining the prominence of cost management in the future. In the recent past, the literature on strategic cost management is growing. The journals like Accounting, Organizations and Society, the Journal of Cost Management, and the Journal of Management Accounting Research are publishing articles on the subject. Cost analysis helps in assessing the financial impact of alternative managerial decisions. In strategic cost management, understanding of a firm's cost structure helps in formulating strategies for sustainable competitive advantage. Cost information plays a continuous role or continuous cycle of strategy formulation, how it helps financial analysis to evaluate strategic alternatives in terms of financial feasibility and required financial returns. At the communicating strategies across the organization, reports that focus attention on critical factors, while execution of strategies, financial analysis showing the tactical programs likely to be effective, and in developing and implementing management controls in meeting the strategic objectives, monitoring performance of business units and their managers. Now, when we talk about the blending of strategy with the management accounting, there are several key themes which are being proposed by different academicians and practitioners. One of the themes which is proposed by Hilton, Meyer, and Salto, it says cost management supports management strategic decision making. They consider it a philosophy, an attitude, and a set of techniques to create more value at lower cost. In terms of philosophy, make the right decisions to create more customer value at lower cost. Attitude, costs result from management decisions. That is the key theme when we are teaching this one, that costs are the results of management decisions. Be active partners in making management decisions to develop and improve products, services, and reduce costs. And in terms of techniques, to support a specific decision or together to support the organization's goals and objectives. So when we look at the relationship between the different kinds of management decisions and the cost management system element, we'll find a very, very closely integrated relationship. For example, if the management decision involves choose the organization's long strategy, the cost management system element is analyze relative competitiveness by comparing processes to competitors and best practices. In terms of define the organization's scale and scope of operations, analyze current and possible changes in value chain and economic cost drivers, plan and organize the use of resources into efficient operations, analyze current business and production processes for efficiency, measure expected out-of-pocket and opportunity cost of decisions, implement plans and organizational change, provide leadership for cross-functional teams, evaluate results of plans and changes, measure periodic and product flows of costs through business, production, marketing, and distribution processes and activities, motivate and evaluate performance of individuals and subunits. This is on the management control side. Develop incentive programs and measure improvement, productivity, quality, cycle time, and customer satisfaction. Communicate plans and results to constituents, that is, provide frequent and timely communication to match decision making, and evaluate success of decision making and making improvements, explain and interpret differences between the actual outcomes and plans, budgeting and variance analysis. The other model of key themes, which is proposed by Shank and Govindarajan, they talk of the underlying elements of the strategic cost management as three: value chain analysis, strategic positioning analysis, and the cost driver analysis. The value chain concept is involving the linked set of value creating activities ranging from sourcing to delivery of goods and services to the consumers. Right? Mr. Asim has already highlighted the experience which he has shared on this particular aspect of creating value chain. In the SCM framework, managing costs effectively requires a focus external to the firm, which is part of the value chain. In contrast, management accounting often adopts a focus that is largely internal to the firm. So that's the distinction between the management accounting and the SCM framework. Cost leadership, economies of scale of production, experience curve effects, learning curve effects, tight cost control, cost minimization in specific areas such as R&D, service, advertising, etc. Examples of low-cost strategy: when we look at the value chain, the Porter's competitive advantage of firms, where on one part it is the low-cost or cost leadership, where examples of low-cost strategy involves Texas Instruments in consumer electronics, Hyundai in auto, Black & Decker in machine tools, Kmart in retailing. When we look at the other dimension of competitive advantage of firms, the other wide dimension is differentiation. Now, the examples are brand loyalty, Coca-Cola, in soft drinks, superior customer service, IBM in computers, dealer network, Caterpillar, product design and features, HP in electronics. The value chain concept highlights 4 profit improvement areas, namely linkages with suppliers, linkages with customers, process linkages within the value chain of a business unit, and linkages across business unit value chains within the firm. Then the second thing which they talk about is the strategic positioning. Differentiation and cost leadership involve different managerial mindsets. They also involve different cost analysis perspectives. Cost management and control systems for cost leadership strategy have higher focus on role of engineered product costs in assessing performance, flexible budgeting and manufacturing cost control, importance of product cost as an input to pricing decisions, and importance of competitor cost analysis. Whereas the product differentiation strategy has significant importance of marketing cost analysis, but moderate to low emphasis on role of engineered product cost in assessing performance, flexible budgeting and cost control, product cost as an input to pricing decision, and competitor cost analysis. So it says that depending upon what strategy orientation the firm has, what is the importance given to different dimensions of the strategic cost management. The logic for linking controls to strategy is based on the following line of thinking. For effective execution of the strategy, different strategies require different task priorities, different key success factors, and different skills, perspectives, and behaviors. Control systems are measurement systems that influence the behavior of those people whose activities are being measured, right? So when we look at planning and control as a part of the performance management system or the responsibility accounting, thus the design of control systems should ensure whether the behavior induced by the system is the one that is consistent with the strategy. Here it talks about the requirement of goal congruence in a profit center concept, in a sense that what is in the interest of the business manager, whatever trade-off the business manager does, is also necessarily in the interest of the firm. Finally, the cost driver concept. Understanding cost behavior implies understanding the complex interplay of the set of cost drivers at work in a given situation. Historically, the volume has been considered as an important cost driver, or the output volume. SCM tends to draw upon the richer models of the economies of industrial organization to identify the cost driver. It does not focus only on the output volume as a cost driver, because classically when we look at volume of the output as the cost driver, then our classification of variable, fixed, direct, indirect, etc. is with respect to that cost driver. But whereas SCM looks at various other complex factors which can be the drivers, cost drivers. The first category of cost driver comprises structural cost drivers, namely scale, scope, experience, technology, and complexity. And which are these? Scale, how big an investment to make, right? That also drives the behavior of the cost. Scope, degree of vertical integration. Horizontal integration is an example of a scale. So what is the degree of vertical integration which the organization has in a product service portfolio? Experience, how many times in the past the firm has already done what it is doing again. Technology, what process technologies are used at each step of value chain. And complexity, how wide a line of products or services to offer to customers. So these choices also can become the cost drivers when we try to develop the costing systems. Each structural cost driver involves choices by the firm that drive product or service costs. So it's not only the volume of the output which drives the cost, but also the structural drivers. The other set of cost drivers are executional drivers. For example, the participation of the workforce, total quality management, capacity utilization, plant layout efficiency, product configuration, linkages with suppliers and customers. Whatever cost drivers are on the list, the key ideas are as follows. When we link the costing with the strategy, for strategic analysis, volume is usually not the most useful way to explain cost behavior. It is more useful to explain cost position in terms of the structural choices and execution skills that shape the firm's competitive position. For each cost driver, there is a particular cost analysis framework that is critical to understanding the position for a firm. So to sum up on the practices which we follow with our clients as well as what we do in terms of academics, what is the most useful way to analyze the cost? In terms of the various stages of the overall value chain of which the firm is part, with a strong external focus. What is the objective of cost analysis? 3 objectives, namely scorekeeping, attention directing, and problem solving remain. Now, that was the one with which the principles of management accounting evolved. The design of cost management systems changes dramatically depending on the basic strategic positioning of the firm. How should we try to understand cost behavior, function of strategic choices, about the structure of how to compete, and in terms of structural cost drivers and executional cost drivers? So you can see that how the curriculum or the academics is developed, which is blending the practice along with the academics in all our long duration programs. And you would notice that the skill sets with which the graduates acquire the skill sets is a wide range from cost accounting to the management control systems. Thank you very much.